Right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, as we started with the open system energy balance yesterday, and in open system, the systems which I discussed, they were related to this mean steady state. So, I have uploaded this lecture already. I'll just go to the final slide where we finished, and this was the final equation, which after going through some 4 5 steps derivation, we reach to the one equation which is used for open system when it is at steady state. So in yesterday's lecture overall on this equation, we discussed the things related to this equation, which was something I think related to specific internal energy, then specific enthalpy, the work, and then finally all those components were combined in the final equation to get one equation which can be used to solve the problem related to these systems. So let's practice that equation by solving these two problems quickly. Today we will solve two problems, and then I will tell you uh, some new things related to somehow energy balance which you can use, or some new concepts. So like here in this question, it is given to you like 500 kilogram per hour of steam drives a turbine. I think you guys will be aware about this, that there are power plants in which turbines are used, and those turbines are connected to the generator by which electricity is generated. So in power plants, steam is used to run the turbines, to move the turbines. So here he mentioned that 500 kilogram per hour of steam drives the turbine. It's mean there is some equipment which we call it turbine, and 500 kilogram per hour of steam enter in turbine. The steam enters the turbine at 44 atm and 450 degrees C at a linear velocity of 60 meter per second. Up to here, the steam which has a flow rate of 500 kilogram per hour, its temperature, pressure, and velocity is given. And if I continue further at a linear velocity of 60 meter per second, these are the entrance condition, and leaves at a point 5 meter below the turbine inlet at atmospheric pressure. And that steam which entered inside the turbine at the end of the day, that leaves out of the turbine, but its position from where it leaves is 5 meter below its inlet reference point, and has a velocity of 360 meter per second. So these are just for outlet two condition. It is leaving 5 meter below the inlet point and with the velocity of 360 meter per second. The turbine delivers shaft work at the rate of 70 kilowatt. This turbine delivers shaft work. What does this mean when we say deliver? By the way, remember here your system is turbine. Turbine is one equipment and that delivers the work. Whenever this word is used, it means work is performed by this equipment. Turbine delivers means turbine perform the work. Turbine delivers shaft work at the rate of 70 kilowatt. As I told you that in power plants there are turbines and they are connected to the generators. So in order to move that generator, turbine actually push that generator, move that generator. So it's mean turbine is working. This which is our system at the moment, turbine, that works on the surrounding, because another equipment which we are calling generator, that is connected with the turbine, that is surrounding of turbine. So as he mentioned here, the work delivered by the system, so our turbine deliver shaft work at the rate of 70 kilowatt. So either it should be positive or negative.
Negative.
Negative, because as I told you, it delivered means turbine is working on the surrounding. Good. And the heat loss from the turbine is estimated to be 104 kilocalories per hour. Mean heat loss, some heat is lost, so not, sorry, 104, it is 10 raised power 4, sorry for this. So it is 10 raised power 4 kilocalories per hour. Calculate the specific enthalpy associated with the process. So we have to calculate enthalpy change. So do you remember there was some term called enthalpy in the equation which we discussed last time, the last equation here somewhere? The last equation, there is something called change in enthalpy, rate of change in enthalpy plus the rate of change in kinetic energy plus rate of change in potential energy is equal to Q, rate of change of heat plus rate of shaft work. So here this delta H. So but he has asked us to calculate specific enthalpy change. And this diagram is also provided. In this you can see that in inlet flow rate, temperature, pressure and velocity is given. Outlet in this he didn't say anything that like this 500 kilogram steam is stored. It is not stored. Always the steam which is entering to the system leaves out of the system. In turbine, steam is not stored. The same amount which enter will leave at the same rate. So its condition are given like 1 atm and 360. He didn't provide us outlet mean temperature. The other thing here, this steam when it entered, it is leaving 5 meter below the surface. So I mean if it is reference point, I take it as a 0, so it is like in minus side, it will be -5 because it is going down instead of going upward. Outside H2 which is here, that will be like -5. Why it is -5?
Downward.
Because we are going down the reference point. Guys, please remember and listen to this point carefully. Here, if something moves upward, for example, mean the entrance level is ground level. At ground we say, for example, height is 0. So if something is lifted above that point, then we take as a positive height. But in this case it is going down. Due to this reason I am telling you that I will be taking it H2, new height, from where it leaves out of the system, that is -5 meter point. Okay, and then out of this mean work is performed, that is negative, as well as heat is lost from this, because steam is at high temperature and in the surrounding usually temperature is low. So out of this equipment some heat is lost outside to the environment, and that is like this, which is given as -10^4 kilocalories per hour. So okay, let me discuss its solution. Right, I have drawn the same diagram. First of all, you can also draw the diagram that steam flow rate is 500 kilogram per hour. As I told you that either he mentions or not, outlet flow rate will be here 500 kilogram per hour. If they provide you any equipment in which some storage takes place, definitely that should be mentioned, but anything like this was not mentioned in our problems. It's mean all steam coming in will be leaving out of the system. Other same conditions are given, mean this heat is lost from the system and work is performed. So what he asks us to find change in specific enthalpy. It's mean del H cap you have to find. So do you have any formula which you can use or which you can suggest to find this? And you know that, first of all, do you know what does this specific enthalpy change mean? What will be its formula if I just wanna link it with mean just simple enthalpy change?
Enthalpy divided by mass.
Yes, good. I mean, if I write simple specific enthalpy, that is equal to enthalpy divided by mass. You studied this yesterday as well in earlier lectures. That's any quantity which we call specific. That means that quantity divided by its amount. Now that amount can be in mass or moles, but here we are given the quantities in kg mass, so that's we can just report in the form of like enthalpy divided by per unit mass. So do you have some mass? Yes, in the question
Yes, sir.
mass of steam is given.
500.
Yes, good, 500 kilogram per hour. But we don't have anything which we call like here, as we have to find change. So it's mean we have to find something change in enthalpy. And here, because your mass is also given as a mass flow rate, so it's mean you will need change in enthalpy per unit time. And that you know that you have this simple journal equation. So in order to find this, actually what you need are the two terms, which is first change in enthalpy per unit time over like mass flow rate. So that time will cancel with the time and you will get answer in the form of specific enthalpy. So this is the equation for open systems. By the way, why I'm saying this is open system? Is it really open system?
क्योंकि सर जी उसमें स्ट्रीम एंटर भी हो रही है और लीव भी कर रही है.
Good. Here mass flow is coming in, steam is getting in as well as leaving from the system. So definitely it is open system. You will use the equation of open system. So this is del H plus del KE plus del PE is equal to Q plus WS. This is the final form of the equation which we derived yesterday. So when in this equation, now look, first of all, what you have to find in this equation?
Delta H.
Yes, del H. That's something which you have to find. Okay. What about del KE? Will this term exist or we can omit it? Like, can we make it 0?
Yes, sir.
Can we make it
No.
0? Look
No,
at the
sir.
data
No, sir.
carefully.
No,
सर
sir.
जी हमारे पास
Yes,
क्या
sir.
क्या हो रहा है?
No.
Should-
Look, kinetic
Because-
energy. How you can find change in kinetic energy? Mean kinetic energy at inlet and outlet, their difference. Okay. Actually, it is outlet minus inlet. Yesterday, the last term was this delta, or actually outlet minus inlet for each term. Like if it is delta H, it is H at outlet minus H at inlet, and so on. Others. So del KE, guys, you can see that there is a flow rate, or sorry, velocity at the inlet is different from the velocity at outlet. So when velocity change is taking place, it's mean you have to calculate delta K. You cannot omit this term. Change in kinetic energy is taking place. Next, what about change in potential energy? Is there any change in potential energy?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
height
sir.
वो
change.
height change हो-
Decrease हो जाएगी.
Yes, good. Because height is changing, height is decreasing here. Mean inlet point and outlet point are not same. They are not at the same level. So when there is a change in height, so it's mean definitely there will be change in potential energy. We need to calculate this. What about Q? Is there any term related to Q in the question? Yes,
Minus
there is a
potential
heat
loss.
loss. So yes, heat loss, heat added, but here is only heat loss. So our Q will be only in negative terms, like which is loss. So Q will exist there. What about shaft work? Is there any shaft work here? Yes,
Yes,
heat
sir.
Yes, sir.
turbine deliver.
sir.
Actually, as yesterday I discussed the example of pump. Now this turbine, there are the blades of turbine. When the steam strike with those, that start revolving, and it has one shaft which is connected with the generator. So with the help of this, it just rotates or moves the generator. So that shaft, that is called shaft work, which is delivered by this turbine. So that's also given, and in the question he mentioned specifically that this is shaft work of 70 kilowatt. So it's mean any of the terms here will not be omitted. Now what we have to do, we have to keep all these terms. Del H you are looking for, others you have to find. Some are given here, Q is already available, we don't need to calculate. WS is there. Yes, what we have to do is to find del KE and del PE. So guys, you can see here that this is the energy definitely, and this is also Q and W, but they have different units. So it's mean we will try to have some similar units in our system. So let's calculate kinetic energy, potential energy, and then we will also look at the unit of these two, and so that we can add same unit terms, or we can insert all the terms which have same units in this equation to find del H. First of all, let's find change in kinetic energy. So in order to find change in kinetic energy, as I mentioned earlier, that when you derived yesterday this equation, when you wrote delta KE in the just last step, before that there was second last step in which you were told that this change in kinetic energy, change in potential energy, or change in this enthalpy, they are equal to actually, for example, for kinetic energy of all the streams at outlet minus kinetic energy of all the streams at inlet. So it is actually 1 over 2 m v2 square minus 1 over 2 m v1 square. because here the flow rate was same, so due to this reason I have just taken it common, like 1/2 m dot, and just separated v2 square minus v1 square. But guys, remember please, I think in the next question maybe there are different flow rates, so we will look that when they are different you have to include all those separately, calculate them, and then simplify the equation. So remember this kindly, because student make mistakes are in question which you solved, you took it as a common, so we take it as a common because my flow rate is here same. Because it is 500 kg per hour in the outlet and inlet, so it will remain same. So then just now we want to use it. Do you have velocity and mass in the question? Can you look at the diagram?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, there are. So guys, look, here is something. Velocity at inlet is 60 meter per second, outlet is 360 meter per second, as well steam flow rate is 500 kilogram per hour. So here you can see in both of these units there is a unit of time which is in one, it is in second, and other it is in hour. So it is more convenient to go for second, because here we have something in kilowatt, so kilowatt is kilojoule per second, so that we can read to some such unit. So I have just converted here the unit of mass from kilogram per hour to kilogram per second. There is no restriction. You guys can keep it as such as 500 kilogram per hour. In that case, if you want to keep it as such, then you have to convert the units of both velocity. So in that case, you have to go for two conversions. Instead of that, I just went for one conversion of kilogram per hour to kilogram per second. So it's really up to you. You can use any units. At the end of the day, result should be reported in some familiar and same unit. So here I just converted it to kilogram per hour to the kilogram per second, just simple conversion. After that, just put these values in the equation. Here 1/2 mv square, m is here 0.139 kg per second, multiply by velocity square. So v2 square, v2, as I said, it is velocity at outlet, that was 360 meter per second, its square minus velocity at inlet 60 square, and its unit are meter per second, but as we have to take square, so for units as well you will take square. So next, after this, just because now the unit should be something kg meter square per second cube, but I want to report it in some familiar units. So what I did here, I just used the first of all kg meter per second square is equal to 1 Newton. I use that conversion, so this kg meter and second square will cancel, and what you will be left over is Newton meter per second here. Then next thing, Newton meter is equal to 1 joule. So I just use this here, Newton meter, Newton will cancel as well, this meter which is left over will be cancelled, and your answer is leftover unit is joule per second. And this actually 1 joule per second is equal to 1 watt, but I used 1000 joule per second to just in one step I have made these two conversions. What you can do, you can write first joule per second is equal to watt, and then 1000 watt is equal to 1 kilowatt. So this is just simple conversion, guys, nothing. So at the end of the day you can simplify this, and your answer is change in kinetic energy is 8.75 kilowatt. Any confusion, any question here? So one term is evaluated. The next term which you have to evaluate is potential energy change. So can anyone tell what will be the formula for this?
MGH.
Okay,
PV.
mgh at the inlet, and then mgh at outlet side. So actually the difference, this delta P is mgh2, which is mean potential energy at outlet side minus potential energy at inlet side. So here again, because mass flow rate is same, so what I did here, I took mg common out of this, and this is change in potential energy because we have mass flow rate, so it is m dot g multiplied by h2 minus h1. So look, mass flow rate is the same thing in kg per second. G, I will be using meter per second, 9.8, because I'm dealing with SI units. What about next potential change in height? As I told you that we can take that point as a reference at which steam is entering, and that value, for example, I said when you take earth ground as a reference, that is 0.0. I think you agree with this.
Yes, sir.
That is our 0.0. Now if anything just move upward than this, then that is a positive value, positive change in that value, height. When you go upward from some reference point, that is positive value. But what we were doing here in the diagram, you have seen that we were going down below that surface, which was our reference point, ground surface. When you go down this, then your value is minus, negative. Okay, so here as it was leaving at 5 meter below that surface, so I have taken it as a -5. H2 from where it leaves is -5 minus 0, that reference point, and this is the height, so it will have unit of meter. And then similar conversion, I mean like introduction of Newton in the system, and then Newton meter to the joule, and joule per second to the kilowatt or watt, and 1000 watt is equal to 1 kilowatt. So that's calculated. There is a very small although change, but there will be a change in potential energy. You have to find it, and that's calculated here. Any confusion, any question here?
No,
Right.
sir.
Next, so when these two are calculated, next anything else left in the equation? We have calculated these two. You can see there is a Q and WS. So as you can see that I calculated here for my question, when I was solving here, I calculated kinetic energy in kilowatt as well potential energy in kilowatt. Work, shaft work is already in kilowatt, so that's only thing left is the Q, which is in kilocalories per hour. So I just change its unit because at the end of the day I have to put them all in a one equation. So in order to solve that equation, they should have same units in order to subtract or add, from the initial days of your this subject, that in order to add different quantities, subtract, they should have same unit. So I have changed the unit of Q from kilocalories per hour to the kilowatt. So you know that kilocalories to the joule, first of all you can go, and then this R to the second. So overall up to this step, when you go from kilocalories to the joule and R to the second, your units are joule per second, and then you know that joule per second can be easily converted to the kilowatt, and then the value is minus 11.6 kilowatt. Up to here you have converted all, you have all four quantities. You can rearrange that equation. Del H is equal to Q plus Ws minus change in kinetic energy and change in potential energy. So just put their values here, like Q, which is here minus 11.6, plus shaft work, that's value is 70 with the minus because this is delivered by the turbine, and then there is a minus of formula because kinetic energy was positive, so that is 8.75 minus this value, and here I think I made a small mistake. This is minus of formula and then this minus, so it should be here, so one minus extra here, so it will be minus plus into minus, it will become plus. So your answer is something like this, 90.3. So just check this kindly, because maybe there is a very small change in the answer, but I think it will not affect much because this is very small value as compared to others, so maybe a very small change in the answer due to this. So it will be like minus 90.3 kilowatt, and up to here you will find rate of change of enthalpy. But what was asked in the question?
Specific.
Yeah, change in specific enthalpy. So you can calculate that very easily, as we discussed in the start. That formula should be, for example, del H over M, but there is M is also in flow rate and del H is also in like per unit time. So this kilowatt is actually kilojoule per second. So that's you can use here in this kilowatt, and kilowatt is kilojoule per second. I use this conversion here. and divided by the mass flow rate, that is 0.139 kilogram per second. So this second will cancel with the second, like time units cancel, and your units are kilojoule per kilogram. So that was the value which you were looking for, that specific enthalpy change. Any question? Any question? No question? Is it difficult?
No, sir.
Easy, sir.
Okay, guys,
No, sir.
can you
Easy.
tell me one from where you will be using these, what I say, convergence? From where you take convergent table? So do you have convergent table?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It is available in the section of books on OneDrive. There was one table I uploaded, and I also asked you to, if you guys don't find some conversion, you can write with your pen in your table. I think from the one you have printed it, you have with you as well. You can print the first page of your textbook, that was unit conversion. So because there are few more which are not available in that table maybe. So just keep them with you so that you can get it. So next question in which we have to apply, I think, same equation. So two streams of water are mixed to form the feed to a boiler. So what is boiler? Do you know?
सर जिसमें वाटर और फ्यूल से कंबशन होती है और आगे फिर मतलब स्ट्रीम जनरेट होती है.
Okay, yes, good. The equipment in which we generate the steam, I will talk about it. I will show you 1-2 diagrams after this problem later on, that how what is that equipment. So boiler is simply the equipment in which steam is generated. So here in any boiler, whenever you so in boilers, when you have to generate the steam, you have to feed the water definitely, because water is evaporated, that's converted to the vapors. So the two streams of water are mixed to form the feed to the boiler. Feed to the boiler means that is inlet of the boiler. So process data are as follows. Feed stream 1, that is equal to, its flow rate is given here 120 kg per minute, and it is available at simply 30 degrees C. While feed stream 2, which is available at 175 kilogram per minute, they are the flow rate of these streams, and it is available at 65 degrees C, meaning the boiler two streams are entering and they have different temperatures. Then boiler pressure is 17 bar absolute. Boiler definitely, when boiler generates the steam, the temperature and pressure keep on rising. So here he told you that this boiler is operating at 17 bar absolute. This is the pressure of that boiler. So steam emerges from the boiler through a 6 centimeter inner dia pipe, ID inner dia. So this steam which is produced in the boiler, then it leaves the boiler, like through the boiler from a pipe which has a diameter of 6 centimeter. Calculate the required heat input to the boiler in kilojoule per minute. What you are supposed to find here?
Q.
Q. And why he is asking to calculate us, guys, you know that whenever you have to boil the water, you have to provide the heat. Do you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, in order to boil the water, we have to heat it up. Then like for phase change, you know that we have to provide the heat, and for that, in order to provide that heat, he asks you to calculate how much heat you have to provide. If in the continuation, calculate the required heat input to the boiler in these units. If the emerging steam which is leaving from this is saturated at the boiler pressure. There are different type of steam, and this is saturated, and I think we discussed somewhere that when phase change is taking place, for example at 100 degrees C at 1 atmospheric pressure, water boils at 100 degrees C, and the vapors which are available just converted from liquid to the vapor, they are called saturated vapors. So this steam at 17 bar will be available at that will be the saturated steam. We didn't further heat it up. So That's, he said, that steam which emerges from this is available, and that is saturated steam. So if you don't understand this concept much, I will talk about it later in this lecture. So just consider here that generated steam is saturated steam. There are two type of steam, I mean, which we will talk here: saturated and superheated. So I will tell you the difference, but at the moment just remember that this is saturated steam, and I will let you know later why he mentioned this word. So neglect the kinetic energies of the liquid inlet streams. You have to neglect the kinetic energies of inlet streams, but at outlet he didn't mention anything, so it's mean we have to consider outlet stream. So specific volume of steam is 0.1166 cubic meter per kg at the given condition of 17 bar. So this is diagram here for your convenience. So you can see that there is a boiler, and in this boiler we provide the heat. For example, here he has shown some electric or some coil in which we can, through which we can provide the heat. So there are two streams, their inlet flow rate and temperature, as was mentioned here. They are mentioned, and something extra is mentioned. I will tell you. At outlet, that steam is leaving, and here in the boiler again there is no accumulation. Always liquids come inside, water will come inside, and it will be just converted to the vapor, and all water will leave from the system. So at the outlet, although flow rate was not there, but we can just add these two flow rates and can get the flow rate at outlet. Its pressure is 17 bar, because he said boiler pressure is 17 bar, so it means steam generated is at the same condition, which is 17 bar. So something he wrote here, just ignore this temperature because not given in the question. And then 6-inch diameter pipe, this steam is leaving. So guys, I mean, look for this at 30 degrees C, water molecule will have some enthalpy. So that you can find from the book. After this problem I will show you some tables, so we call them steam tables, and from those steam table, at any given temperature and pressure conditions, you can find the enthalpy of water, steam, whatever the component is. Actually, as I'm calling them steam table, so they provide data about water at its saturation condition, meaning in the form of water as well as in the form of steam. So we will look at them later, but at the moment just consider here, we will just see maybe specific these examples also, but at the moment this is provided here that at 30 degrees C, specific enthalpy of water, which is in the form of liquid, is 125.7 kilojoule per kg, and at this 65 degrees C enthalpy is also given as well. Enthalpy at the outlet is also provided here. At outlet there is a steam which is available at 17 bar, so that is also provided to you in this question. So this is all information which is given here. And this which he mentioned here, saturated temperature, when we will look at the steam table, we can find that when steam is produced at 17 bar and it is saturated steam, what is actually saturation temperature at that time? So can any of you tell me that when there is a pressure of 1 atmospheric, what is saturation temperature?
100 degrees Celsius.
Yes, good, 100 degrees C. Simply this is like pressure at that time, which is 17 bar. So in case of 1 atm, we know that water boils at 100 degrees C, so that's the saturation temperature. So in this case at 17 bar, actually saturation temperature is 204, which he has mentioned from the table. So let's solve this problem. First of all, for you here, drawn the diagram again. So I have mentioned all those things which were provided in the diagram on the previous page. So that's like flow rate, temperature, and enthalpy for inlet 1, for inlet 2 stream, and then outlet stream. All those 4 conditions, which is like flow rate, which is the sum of 2 streams getting into the system. There is a pressure and there is a like enthalpy at this pressure, and then die of the pipe. So what you have to find is to find the amount of heat added to the system. Why this heat is added? Because water is entering in the form of liquid. You have to evaporate it. You have to convert to the steam. So you have to provide that heat. Okay, then here, as he said, kinetic energy of inlet stream. So I said kinetic energy of inlet stream is 0. And I wrote here, by the way, before I started solving this problem, change in potential energy. Did he talk about anything, change in height, like that?
No.
No, sir.
In the question, when there is nothing discussed about the height or anything related to that, you can just ignore that. So due to this, here I mentioned delta P is equal to 0. Is there any shaft work being found here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, in the boiler, just guys remember, maybe many of you don't know, boiler is just simple equipment in which water enters and it is converted to the steam. So there is no work taking place inside this in the form of like shaft. But in turbine, definitely turbine rotates and then shaft work takes place. So when you will go through various problems, hopefully with the passage of time, you will get the idea that where work is involved and where it is not. Like in this question, as also in the statement, there is nothing mentioned about the work. And in the boiler, I'm telling you that nothing involved, like you have to provide the heat and convert the water from liquid to the vapor. So at the same time, shaft work is 0. So I wrote here the general equation initially, same equation. In this equation, as we said, delta PE and WS shaft work and change in potential energy are 0. So your equation will be quite simplified, like Q, which you are looking for, will be equal to change in enthalpy, rate of change in enthalpy plus rate of change in kinetic energy. So can we still simplify this equation of kinetic energy, change in kinetic energy? You know that change in kinetic energy is kinetic energy of the streams at outlet minus kinetic energy of streams at inlet. So will it be simplified further?
No, sir. Inlet की तो 0 है, outlet की सिर्फ
Yes,
करेंगे.
in case of
Outlet.
inlet 0, so only we have to find kinetic energy at outlet. So this in this question overall, you have to find change in enthalpy, rate of change in enthalpy plus kinetic energy per unit time at outlet. So let's start with this. First of all, in order to find this, these two terms definitely we have to evaluate to find the Q. So change in enthalpy here. So when you write del H is H of output minus H of input stream. So how many input streams and how many output streams are here?
2 input, 1 output.
Good, 2 input streams and there is only 1 output stream. So we can write this simple formula as I mentioned them with the M3H3 mean outlet stream number 3. I already mentioned here. You can see that I named it as a 3 and 1 and 2 are just entering. So I have written general formula for this minus like this M1H1 plus M1H2. By the way, from where this came, MH cap, what is this? I wrote here H dot and how this formula is formed. I think this is now very straightforward. You know that specific value is equal to that quantity divided by mass, because I was looking for that quantity, so I will just multiply by this mass with the specific enthalpy. And in the question, you know, or in the data, specific enthalpies are given as well mass flow rate are given, so we can find this H dot. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. So here you have flow rates and as well enthalpies, so nothing to do this. You have to put the values and simple mathematics. I have just put all the values along with their enthalpies which are given in the question, so you can just find del H here. So that's the first step to find del H. Next, what you have to find is the kinetic energy for this and kinetic energy for only outlet stream, because for inlet stream there is no kinetic energy in the question. He said just ignore them. So actually del KE is equal to only KE3, KE potential energy of stream 3, which is outlet stream. So it will be like 1 over 2 mv square. M3 mean flow rate of that stream 3 and velocity of that stream 3. So guys, do you have this mass flow rate and velocity of stream 3? Let's go back.
No, sir. Velocity नहीं है.
So okay, mass flow rate is there for this stream, velocity nahi hai. How you can find the velocity? Is there any way to find something velocity?
Velocity into
Any
area is
idea?
equal to.
Good. Velocity into area is equal to volumetric flow rate. Now look, can we find here volumetric flow rate? I think you can find somehow. Just look, you are given with the mass flow rate. So what
Density.
you need here? Density, yes, and density, I will tell you, density you can find from somewhere very easily for this steam, which is steam stream. So yes, we can find volumetric flow rate. What about area? Can you calculate the area?
Diameter से निकालेंगे, radius
So
निकाल के.
diameter of the pipe from which this steam is leaving is given, so it's mean you can also find the area. So if we can find the density, and we will be able to convert this mass flow rate to the volumetric flow rate, and area can be easily calculated. So it's mean you guys can calculate the velocity of outlet stream. So let's look at this, how I calculated.
जो हमें स्पेसिफिक वॉल्यूम दिया
ये
हुआ है
वही यूज होगा यहाँ पे, वो डेंसिटी का इनवर्स ही होता है, ठीक है, वो इसी वजह से क्वेश्चन में गिवन है. So volumetric flow rate is velocity into area. So in order to find volumetric flow rate, same mass flow rate divided by the density, and you know that specific volume is inverse of density. So I just simplified this, that mass flow rate multiplied by, instead of divided by density, I just multiplied it with the specific volume. And why I did this? Because in the question statement you were provided with specific volume of this steam which was leaving at the outlet of the boiler. In the question statement, if you don't remember, you can see here. Just read the last line. Specific volume of steam is 0.1166 cubic meter per kg. So as it was given, can use it, multiply it with the volumetric flow rate, which was kg per minute. I just converted that from minute to the second here for some purpose, and just later you can just multiply it with the specific volume, with unit or cubic meter per kg. So all the other units cancel, and your leftover answer is cubic meter per second. So you have calculated volumetric flow rate, which was one of the requirement to find the velocity. Other requirement left over is the area. For area, this is the pipe, and for the diameter is given, which is 6 centimeter. So what will be the radius? Half of that, and you know that area of the pipe, this is formula for this, pi r square. So just use this and you can calculate the answer in, I just converted from centimeter to meter because all other unit I'm using is SI system units. So area of the pipe is also calculated. Now you have both quantities, volumetric flow rate as well as the area. So I think you can find the velocity. Can you? Yes,
sir.
so that's good. Here just put the values and simplify it, and the velocity of this stream is just 202.5 meter per second. So where we have to use this velocity? Just look at this equation of kinetic energy. Yes, so it's mean you have to find kinetic energy of outlet stream. You have its flow rate, that is 295 kg per minute, and then this velocity, which was 202.5 meter per second. So here, because this is velocity square, so I will also take the square of the unit as well as the quantity, and then I use that also the same conversions of Newton, to just cancel this kilogram, meter and second square, and then Newton meter was converted to the joule. This will all will use to do this conversion if you are going for kilojoule or kilowatt. So at the end we will just keep it as a kilojoule per minute, because already I think you calculated previous one in the kilojoule per minute. So again, it's up to you. You guys can convert it to the kilojoule per second. Then you have to convert also del H here, which was also in kilojoule per minute. That should also be converted to kilojoule per second. So because in the question he asked us to find the answer in kilojoule per minute, due to this reason I was keeping this unit, I didn't go to the second. So now you have both del H as well as change in kinetic energy, both are you have calculated. So just put in the equation and you can find Q. So any question? This is done. This you were supposed to find the amount of heat added to this system. Hello, any question?
No, sir.
Right. So up to here we have used that same equation which you derived for open system to calculate something we call like different terminologies in the energy balance equation. So look here, one thing specifically. When we discussed this in the question, you were given that flow rate and temperature as well, pressure of only outlet stream, which is steam here. And I told you that these enthalpies you can find from somewhere we call steam tables. So let's look at those from where we can get. And during this question, I told you that there is saturated steam as well as superheated steam. So what is the difference between these? So let's look at something related to this so that you can solve some problem in which if these enthalpies are not provided for these water systems, so how to find that from the book. So you know what is latent heat. Already we discussed these terminologies somewhere in the earlier main semester. Latent heat is like amount of heat involved when there is a phase change. Phase change is taking place. So enthalpy change or enthalpy, you know that this is one type of energy. So we at that time studied that amount of heat involved when there is a phase transition, phase change. Sensible heat.
No phase change.
Yeah, where there is no phase change in temperature. For example, I gave you the example that you raise the temperature of water which was available at 20 degrees C. If you heat it up in the room which is at 100 degrees, considered as something we call sensible heat. Later when it reaches to the 100 degrees C and phase change starts, then we call it latent heat. All the heat added during that will be latent heat. So what is this heat of vaporization? What does vaporization mean?
Liquid to gaseous state.
Yes, when there are phase change, something is converted from liquid to the vapor. So during this, any heat exchange is called heat of vaporization. So here we are calling it like enthalpy change involved during this phase change from liquid to vapor. And inverse of this, or if you just reverse this process, there are the vapor, and when you condense them to the liquid, you convert them to the liquid, which is called condensation. So enthalpy change during this process will be named as heat of condensation. So these are just simple definitions. You can go through them, and few are already discussed. So as earlier we said, there was one term called boiler. So what is boiler? So just remember guys, boiler is the piece of equipment which is used to produce steam. So for producing steam in the industries, actually we burn fuel so that we can heat the water. Fuel burning, like you can burn the gas, coal, or some stuff like this, so that water can be heated and it can be converted from liquid to the vapor. So what is this? Have you seen this equipment somewhere in your surrounding?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
what call it?
Kettle.
Kettle. So some people call it boiler. Yes, electric kettle. So in this what you do actually? You
Sir,
heat
boil
the water
water.
and usually you boil the water. So initially what you have to do here, you have to bring the water inside this equipment and you have to provide the heat. How you provide the heat here?
Sir,
Electricity.
energy into
Yes, with
heat
the help of
energy.
electric heater here, we have electric heater. So in this, either it is batch process or continuous, by the way.
Sir, continuous.
जी
Continuous method.
Batch.
ये continuous process होता है हसीब वाकई
Batch.
इसके साथ दो पाइप कनेक्टेड होते हैं हर टाइम पानी इसके अंदर एंटर हो रहा होता है और लीव कर रहा होता है
नहीं सर, नहीं सर.
So guy, what are you then talking about?
Batch.
So it is simple batch process. So you have
Batch
to fill the
process होता है
water,
सर.
you heat it up. When it is boiled, you take it out, then you fill next stage. So in all such processes are called batch process. So can we make it continuous? Just think over it. Yes, we can do. We can
Yes,
just
sir.
connect some pipe in which water is coming in and leaving out of this. Definitely at that time that will be not heated much, but still you can make it continuous. So I want to relate this to the industrial boiler. Industrial boiler are such equipment. This is on very small scale in which you have to provide the water as well heat at the same time to boil the water. So if we take a large size equipment in which water is continuously coming in and it is boiled. So in order to boil that large amount of water, you usually need the heat. So in our lab, in one of the lab here in the department, you have one boiler in which we provide heat by simple these electric heaters. But on industrial scale, because this is lab scale equipment, or the example of kettle which you are looking, these are very small equipment which can be heated with the help of like electricity. But in the industrial scale, it is expensive to use electricity for producing steam. So what they do, they burn the fuel. So here I have shown you the diagram. Please don't get much confused, just for to give you the idea what boiler is. So you can just, like for example, enlarge this equipment on a large scale. For example, it is given here. This is one type thing we call boiler. So in this boiler, we have somewhere inside the water. So water is boiled by burning it, by heating it, by burning some fuel inside the equipment. So that's definitely complex equipment. No need to go in its detail, just to give you the idea that you fill the water and you produce, when you will heat this water, vapor will be produced, they will be collected, and that is considered or called steam. Okay. So look at these few examples here. Like you have 1 atmospheric pressure. So at this 1 atmospheric pressure, in the first beaker, you can see that there are ice cubes. Can you locate these?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And at that, you can see that temperature is 0 degree C or below 0. We have these ice, but when temperature, you start rising it up, you start heating. So in the next example, you can see that you reach to some temperature we call boiling temperature. It is 100 degree C as shown here. So at 100 degree C and 1 atmospheric pressure, water starts boiling. So at that case,
Boiling.
in this case, actually, initially when it is 0 degree C, you start heating it up, its temperature will start rising slowly, and then you reach to finally 100. So when you are adding this heat from 0 to 100, this is sensible heat. And when it reaches to the 100, now its temperature will not rise. What will happen during this? Phase change starts. So during phase change, yes, there is no change in temperature on this pure component, because we have water here, which this is pure component. I already told you somewhere inside classroom that at atmospheric pressure, pure component, it will boil at one constant temperature. So here it is like boiling at 100 degrees C. So just whenever you are please write these definition if you want to write, but otherwise you can listen later. I have to finish it quickly. So subcooled liquid, something we call subcooled liquid, when it is at temperature below its saturation temperature. And saturation temperature here is actually temperature at which phase change takes place. So for this water which is available at 1 atmospheric pressure, phase change from liquid to vapor takes place at which temperature? 100 degrees C. So any water which is available at this below this 100 degrees C, but kindly remember it is only at 1 atm. If you will change this pressure to lower value or higher value, definitely you know that this boiling temperature change. This was also discussed somewhere in class. So here this subcooled liquid, anywhere you will read this term, that is that water is available at temperature lower than its saturation temperature. Okay, so either it is available at 99 degrees C, 20 degrees C, 25, 50, all these are like considered as subcooled. Then when you keep on raising the temperature and you reach to the saturation temperature of the liquid, so at that, what happens, phase change start. And you know that when temperature reach to the 100 degrees C, water temperature is 100, and at the same time vapor which are formed will also be at same temperature of 100 degrees C. So at this temperature we call them, like liquid is called saturated liquid because it is available at its saturation temperature, or it is available at its phase change temperature. As well, the vapor which are just formed from this, they are called saturated vapor because they are just formed, they will be available at the same temperature, which is 100 degrees C. So when you collect these vapors which are formed at 100 degrees C, if you now want to raise their temperature, can you raise their temperature further?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
we can raise their temperature, guys. Look, if we just take them away from this system, we put it somewhere else where we can provide further heat. We just take these vapors which are formed at the surface of this beaker, at the surface of this water, we just take them away and we start heating them separately. So then you can raise their temperature, because now when they are formed at 100 degrees C, their temperature can be further increased. And how that can be increased? Now they are already in the vapor phase. Any heat which will be added to them, will it raise their temperature or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so
Yes,
just don't keep them here, keep them awake, and you can start heating them further. So when we further add the heat, they are already in the vapor, so there is no further phase change needed. Phase change has already taken place. So now any extra heat added to only those vapor, I am emphasizing here, you have to separate those vapor from this system. You have to take them away and further start heating. So when you will start further heating to them, their temperature will be raised, and then they are called superheated vapors. When vapors, they are away from their saturation temperature. For example, in this case, when we said for a 1 atmospheric pressure, vapors are formed at 100 degrees C. Now if they were formed at 100 degrees C and I somehow separated them and raised their temperature to 110 degrees C, so either they are saturated vapors or superheated vapor. Superheated, because now you are away from the saturation temperature, and in this case for water saturation temperature is 100. So anything above 100, either it is 101, 102 or 110, 150, that is called superheated vapor. So I will show you this table from where you can find these enthalpy and this stuff tomorrow, because I think already time is over.